Well, experts say Americans have always had issues getting a good night's sleep, and it's no surprise that the stress of the pandemic has created long-term chronic sleep issues. So what can you do to break bad habits and get better sleep?
We all need it, and Lisa Lichtenstein, licensed marriage and family therapist, is joining us once again with some helpful advice. You're always so helpful, Lisa. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Okay, at one point over the last year, all of us have probably experienced what's known as kind of coronasomnia during this pandemic, having trouble falling asleep or staying asleep because, let's face it, stress impacts your sleep, right? So what advice can you give people to kind of turn off that stress of the day and finally pass out?
Absolutely. So first thing, prior 2 hours before bedtime, we'll start winding down.
Oh.
We can easily start learning how to train our minds for when it's sleep time and when we want to rev up in the morning. So whatever your bedtime is, 2 hours before, wind down, meaning start engaging in just relaxation types of activities, certain types of TV, certain types of reading. Also, stay away if you can from, devices, screens, unless they're part of your relaxation, regimen. The second thing is, once you're in bed, you can actually not have to be controlled by your thoughts, but rather you can simply be an observer or being mindful of your thoughts, non-judgmentally. And when they flow in, you can notice them and you'll notice them flow out. Thoughts, that's what our minds do, regardless of if we're sleeping, if we're waking. So when you're in bed, go ahead and just notice your thought. If it has some kind of stressful content, just notice that if it's important, you'll deal with it in the morning.
Good to know. Good advice. And while it's good news that things are finally starting to reopen, some people say they're feeling anxiety about returning to normal and returning to that grind. How can we manage that stress?
So the first thing, too, is, going back to our thinking. When we are in uncertainty, which has been pandemic and different parts of life that bring up that kind of uncertainty feeling, anxiety accompanies it. So number one, you want to challenge what the thoughts are. Don't just think that you have to believe everything that you think. So, for example, a lot of people, when we're anxious, will have catastrophic thoughts, like all or nothing, which most of the time are distorted thinking. So if you're thinking, oh my God, is this ever going to end? It's never going to end. I'll always be XYZ. Challenge it and just say, well, is this really true? Or is this just false? So that you can begin to see through anxiety and not have to engage in every single thought that your mind presents to you.
And is that the same situation you would also give to parents and kids who are heading back to class and now in the classroom once again?
Absolutely. With kids, you definitely want to help them identify what they're feeling and, put words to what they might be feeling, look at their facial expressions and normalize it. Well, it might be difficult at first, but, as you get used to this, it's going to get easier and easier. And ask questions for your kids. Make sure that you're available as a parent, just to be able to help them deal with whatever is on their mind.
Yeah, and to listen to them. Thank you so much, Lisa Lichtenstein. Great to see you again. We always appreciate your time here on ABC7.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Thank you.